going on, everybody? It's George here from NVISION, and today I'm here with a very special guest, a very good friend, and one of the smartest, brightest entrepreneurs that I know, as well as one of the most amazing networker I know, because she knows everybody. She's also a great community ambassador, and she is onto something really special here, and we're going to talk about it today, which is the small and mighty. So I want to introduce Agnes Lan to the podcast. Thank you for being here today. It's very much appreciated.
Thank you, George.
I wanted to start off, and we're going to get into the Small and Mighty Summit in a minute, because it's a great cause, and it really is an amazing community tool to really highlight some incredible entrepreneurs who exist in our community. What I wanted to ask you to start is, what inspired you? I was really curious, what inspired you to create Small and Mighty? Because you do a lot of things, and I know you're a very busy woman. So to add this monumental event to your list of things to do blew my mind. So please tell me how somebody like you gets the inspiration to do this.
Actually, we started Small and Mighty back in 2017, so it's not a new idea. And if you think about pre-COVID, there's not a lot of communities. Like post-COVID, definitely a lot more community. Pre-COVID, not a lot of communities. And we wanted to, and back in the day, we were also thinking about a way of getting information to the right people in the shortest amount of time possible. And a lot of times you say, oh, I can Google that. Right now it's like, I can ChatGPT that. But I find our entrepreneur was still trying to Google, and then they fact check, and then they cross-reference, and then before they figure out whether they can trust a piece of information, it's already 30, 40 minutes, and then they ran down a rabbit hole. So I do management consulting for a living. So, I see enough of this, and I'm like, this is bullshit. Like, let's get a couple of really smart people in the room. Guys, spend time with me for half a day.
Mm-hmm.
And then get the information you need from the trending topics. And then you go away for the quarter and you're good, right? Spend some time networking. I love networking, so meeting new people. So get a couple drinks going, have a great afternoon with us. And that's actually kind of how it got started. Plus, I have to say, advantageous to that is we actually had a big sponsor back in the day as a client. So they're like, hey, Agnes, I love this idea. We are big in the B2B community. We would actually use this event as a customer appreciation event.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, okay, well, if you use it as a customer appreciation event, you bring about 40, 50 people. I bring about 40, 50 people. I have 100 people in the room. I can attract enough good speakers to give good content. That's actually kind of how it got started.
That's amazing. I think one of the themes that I noticed, because I was at the event last year, was, community. And I find that, as CEOs or business owners or entrepreneurs starting off, you're isolated.
Yeah.
So what I loved about your event and bringing this all together was the removal of isolation, where, you're running a business, you got a million things going on, you don't know who to talk to, you don't know where to get advice from, whether it be for finance or marketing or management. So when you bring all these people in the room together, it's like an amazing wealth of knowledge for people to not only network and get to know one another, but also contribute back to their communities, right?
Yeah.
And so in terms of what you were able to accomplish last year and the events happening again this year, like, what are some advice that you can give some of these new entrepreneurs that are coming to these sorts of events to maximize the power of the network and the community?
I think just networking in general. I think let's talk about that first. Networking in general, I think a lot of entrepreneurs, pick event and they go to an event and they're like, oh, this is not good. Let's leave.
Yeah. Well, it could be intimidating, right?
It is intimidating for sure. And that's why, you were last year's event. You like, I try to curate a bunch of people that I know are pretty open. Small and Mighty in particular, I find like I do a lot of networking. I find the people that attend is very open-minded. You can quickly talk to someone that sit next to you without any hesitation and or intimidation. So I do like the small mighty community. But in general, like I tell my guys too, I'm a big networker, you know that. I tell my guys when they go out to network, I said, you know what? You committed here for the evening, let's say, 4 to 6, 5 to 7. You could have been with your kid, or you could be with your girlfriend. So set some goals for yourself for attending this, because otherwise it becomes empty, and then you come back to work next day and you're griping to me about how this sucked. So go set yourself, hey, I want to meet 4 entrepreneurs. I want to generate 4 ideas. I want to really get to know 2 pieces of information that I didn't know before. Whatever that KPI is for you for that networking event, you should strive to achieve it.
That's a really valuable point that I've never even thought of, to actually set a KPI for the event. Because I go to these things as well. I really enjoy them because I'll go around and talk to people. I'm not there with an objective in mind that I have to walk away with this. It's just like I'm there, I'm present, I'm learning. But just,
you know why the difference is between you and me, George, is you an extrovert.
Okay.
I am an introvert.
Okay.
So for me to go to an event is like, man, I don't want to go.
And yet you set up this massive event.
But you know why? Because I guess I get such a high from watching people walk away so happy.
Yeah.
Like I think that's my motherly instinct. Like people genuinely walk away happy. Like I have so last October at the last Small and Mighty, I have 2 clients. I have one client that do honey, honey production, and then I have another client that open gyms. And and back in my mind, like I'm a networker and I'm a connector. I introduce people that I think would be generate great opportunity and whatnot. But never in a million year would I think I need to introduce my gym client to my honey producing client, just because I little me, I can see an opportunity there.
Okay.
They sat at the same table. They came out of the event. They came and told me, Agnes, we just had a brilliant idea around a product. I can't tell you right here, but around this particular product, and we think we can collaborate. And then I'm like, my God, that is fantastic. That's exactly why Small and Mighty exists.
It's amazing, because I think one of the things you said to me was like growth, right? It's all about growing. And sometimes you and I might not be able to see a connection between 2 varying businesses. But when you get people talking in person at an event that's it motivates you to do that, you never know what comes out of it, really, right? It ultimately will lead to something.
Yes.
And so going back to like learning beyond the internet, this to me, like I love being in person as much as I don't know that I'm an introvert, but I do love in-person interaction, and networking events like that allow for that to happen. And I will be setting KPIs for the next one, because I never even thought of that. But the advice, like the face-to-face advice that you can get, and the interactions, particularly when they're not aligned with your industry, I think become kind of the most valuable in the same scenario that you just mentioned.
Yes.
Honey and gyms, like, I don't know.
How is it possible?
Yeah.
But yet they have a prototype. Like it is.
Well, it's making common connection, right? And this human connection, which is great. So, so your key theme, you keep emphasizing the power of community, as one of those key themes. Why do you feel like entrepreneurship can feel isolating especially to new entrepreneurs? Because not to ageify the group that was there last year, but there was a lot of younger into new entrepreneurs who are at your event.
Yeah.
How do you feel, having been in business as long as you have, how do you feel like that acceleration and growth can happen with these sorts of events?
I find now a lot of entrepreneur knows to look for the resources that they need. But I find with the new ones, I think they are like sponge. They need to go all over to listen to different entrepreneur and their story, and let's assume that the entrepreneur doesn't mind sharing in the first place, okay? Which already might or may not be the truth. But let's say they're willing to share. How many of them actually have the time to share?
Sure.
Right? So while they're already there, they can pick up a lot of advice from the people that's been in business 20, 30, 40 years. We also have that particular, I'm not young either, so I also have that group of followers as well that comes to our event. And I think the two generation exchange is actually a really good thing, because I also see my older entrepreneurs telling me, hey, this guy gave me an idea too. So breaking down barriers that way and really working as one community is exactly why we have Small and Mighty.
Yeah, I love it. And I go back to like you starting your entrepreneurship kind of journey after your maternity leave,
That's it.
right? And it's like there's really never a wrong or right time. It's when it comes down to the individual. But what I feel can help accelerate your foot in the door into entrepreneurship is these sorts of events, because you're immediately exposed to this vast amount of people who've been there, done that, and are typically speaking, and in the case of Small and Mighty, willing to give you guidance and advice, right? Which was the beauties of these events. So when you leapt into entrepreneurship, what were some of the challenges that you faced? Obviously, you just had your son. You're like, I'm going to give this a shot. What sorts of things did you face that were challenging? And how could this have helped you back then?
You know what? I lucked into entrepreneurship. I always say.
Okay.
I lucked into entrepreneurship. Literally, like 11th month, I got a phone call from an old friend of mine and says, hey, Agnes, I am doing an ERP implementation. I'm the sponsor. I want you on board. You're in or out, right?
Just like that.
Just like that. Multi-year contract right there for the signing. And I don't know if I know, I mean, Georgia, you and I know for each other for a long time. I don't know if you know that I come from a family of entrepreneurs as well.
Okay.
So my dad is also an entrepreneur. He's a general contractor. And I come from a whole slew of engineering background. Like our whole family have done engineering as well. So putting that all kind of together, I figured I'll give it a try. And you know my husband.
Yes.
So Simon is, and I that's why I have to say I love him. He's friends to me, and he says, I know you. If you don't give it a try, I'm never gonna hear the end of this. So he's like, Agnes, give it a try. I mean, he's an engineer, you know that.
Yes.
Give yourself, timeline, whether it's 2 years, whether it's 4 years, whatever you set to be your timeline. Do it. And if you can't get it done, then go find a corporate job. So I said, you know what? I take that as a hidden blessing, and I just ran with it.
That's awesome. That in so many ways, I draw so many parallels to you. And that's why I think I get along with you so much, because entrepreneurship kind of fell on my lap too, out of necessity in a weird way. I also come from an entrepreneurial background. Like my dad's a tailor. He's got his own shop. My wife's an engineer.
Yeah.
So there's these strange parallels. So it's very relatable when we speak. And that's why I love speaking to entrepreneurs, especially like you, who are like, I get it. This wasn't like I didn't wake up and like my life plan was to be the entrepreneur. It sometimes just falls on your lap, and you're like, okay, if I don't give this a run,
Yes,
I will regret it for the rest of my life. And I'm sure you're grateful for it, as am I. Like, I'm glad I took that leap of faith, although it's scary.
yes.
So as someone who like really works closely with SMB and mid-sized businesses, what do you wish that like businesses understood better? What are the sorts of things that people are coming to you for? Because you also have a brilliant management consultancy business, so I'm sure you hear stuff, and especially these days.
Yes.
What are people talking to you about?
I was just on a call on the way here, and I was just telling them, I said, I have been on these calls nonstop for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and I feel more like an economist as I feel like I'm a consultant lately. But in terms of the challenges, we touched on the lonely part and the community piece. But I also feel like an entrepreneur needs to be in a supportive environment. And I don't mean just like the small and mighty network, right? I just mean surround yourself with people that you can trust and that there is good support. Like if I know for sure I need, I don't know, if I need something.
Let's call it marketing.
Marketing. That's right. If I know I need marketing or my client needs marketing, I know exactly who to call. So that is very, very important because like I have someone calling me the other day and said, "Hey Agnes, do you know a it's funny enough, do you know a tailor?" And then I was like, "Yo, no, I don't." But
Now you do.
now I do. But now I have these I get these random calls from people that trust me asking me like, I don't know somebody, but I know Agnes must know somebody. And I kind of feel that every entrepreneur needs that type of support system, whether it's someone that knows somebody, whether it is a marketer, whether it is even a very reliable staff. That's the other thing that I find with small and mid-sized business. A lot of my entrepreneur also fell into entrepreneurship because let's say they were a very good tailor or they are a very good cameraman or whether they're a very good marketer. They fell into entrepreneurship because they were very good at something. And oftentimes very good at something technically may not make you the best salesperson or may not make you the best business owner. So how do you round out those skills in a way that allows you to be more and bring your business to the next level? Like I'm having these discussion with a particular entrepreneur around, that's great, you're very technical, but when we plan out your trajectory, at what point do you have to give up what role, right? Where are you most comfortable? I understand that you are a great drywaller, but a great drywaller isn't going to take this company to $30 million. So what skill set are you missing? And the ability to identify that and, and I have one particular drywaller that actually says, Agnes, I like to drywall. That's all I like to do. In the future state org chart, I understand I have to do what I have to do now, but in the future state org chart, can we make sure that I'm a drywaller? So we actually worked on a plan for him to hire a president.
Makes sense, right? If he's kind of committed to doing his craft and that's what he enjoys, then of course.
Yeah, but I think that the supportive network, the ability to understand I guess yourself too, because we've been also having these conversations around, especially this particular year, right? Around exporting goods, common topic right now. Is this the year to chase after growth, or is this the year to chase after diversification and de-risking your business, right? But you have to be very strategic and mindful what that next step look like in this scenario. It sometimes may not always be chasing after revenue.
Sure. And oftentimes you don't have those answers on your own, right? You need a network or a trusted group that you can console in to give you that direction and guidance, especially as a small business owner, right?
Yes.
Because right now is a very unique time in economics, in geopolitics, right? There's a lot going on in the world. So to assume you have all the answers would be really, really challenging. And I will say for everybody watching this, I have not once gone to Agnes and asked for something and she hasn't been able to produce me with a name. I am telling you, when I say she's one of the best networkers I've ever met, I tell her people I know, she's like, I already know them. I'm like, all right, great. Figured as much. But, for again, when it comes to small and mighty and people who want to move their business forward, thinking really in that, to me, small and mighty is like, when I heard that initially, I was like, it's like fearless, David and Goliath, like you're that entity, but you have passion and the fire and the drive. How did you come up with the name? Because I absolutely love it. Like, where did that concept come up from?
We actually got it from one of our sponsors.
Okay.
Yeah, we were brainstorming one day. Like in back in the day, like it is a collaborative effort. It still is a collaborative effort. But now that, the wheels in motion is a lot smoother. Back in the day, we have a lot of meetings with sponsors and figuring all that out. And one of them's like, "Hey, you know what? We're small and mighty." And I'm like, "Yeah, we are." And that kind of just stuck.
Yeah, I love it. I love just the notion around being small and mighty. Like I look at ourselves that way. We do a lot of, we service a lot of great clients. We're not a massive enterprise with bureaucracy and red tape. We have our struggles and challenges, but we persevere.
Yes.
And that's that. I love that entrepreneurial spirit, and I love surrounding myself with those sorts of individuals. And I had so many good conversations at the event last year with exactly that type of person, right? Where it's like bilateral, like we're sharing, here are the things I'm doing, what are you doing? And vice versa, right? So when it comes to like actionable growth and strategies from the summit, I'm going to put you on the spot for a minute. Can you share one or two strategies that SMBs have found immediately valuable?
Um, Having BDC as an anchor sponsor is helpful.
For funding?
Funding. Thank you, BDC.
Yes.
But also because we're able to get top research, like in a very timely fashion.
You have the
I have the chief economist
chief to ours last year. It was brilliant.
I always lean back on Pierre because Pierre, number one, is so funny and so relatable. But also, every one of his deck and his messaging always have an actionable something. Whether that is, hey, guys, you guys have to hop on AI because it's not going to go away and you have to look at it as part of your efficient strategy moving the future. Like, there's always something that he is preaching around how a business, a small mid-sized business, needs to use it to move forward. So that's why we tend to stick to the Pierre quite a bit, just because his advice is quite actionable.
Yeah, and I think he brought up AI a couple times in his talk last year, if I recall correctly, and it was quite brilliant because there were some takeaways that could be applicable almost instantaneously. Which was amazing. And so let's talk a little bit about the event itself. Because I really want to paint the picture of what people can expect. Last year there was about 150 people there, give or take, business owners from all walks of life, which was amazing. So great opportunity to create partnerships. What can people expect this year?
There's two events this year. There is the Small and Mighty Awards, which is happening May 14th at Agnes Lan. And then there is a Small and Mighty Summit itself. This year we're doing a roundtable. So hopefully we'll land Pierre again. So Pierre will talk about economic forecast for 2026. And then we will have about 8 roundtable with experts that you can go bumble from place to place, figuring out what is that you need, whether it is IP lately is a huge thing. So whether it's IP related, or whether it's financing related, or whether it's marketing related. And I think marketing, you probably have to break it down into marketing is such a big topic nowadays. Like probably have to break it down into a few subsections as well. So it allows our entrepreneurs to go, you know what's topical for me this month? Okay, I really ran into an influencer problem. Like I don't know if my influencer is effective. Let me go to this particular table to see like what my expert is telling me. Things that that actually allows these entrepreneurs to take this, as an expert advice and then run with, I'm not greedy. Like if they run with 2 or 3 actionable ideas at the end of it, I think my KPI is achieved.
That's amazing. And we didn't have that last year. That didn't exist at the event last year.
Last year we did panel.
The panels, right? But
yeah,
this is more, it sounds like much more intimate, like detail specific around something that a business owner may be struggling with, whether it be finance or management or marketing or whatever.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I just recently sat in a very similar conference down in Arizona. And there was 3 different side talks, let's call them, that we could participate in. So it was growth, scaling, or selling your company.
Yep.
And so it's like, where are you at in terms of your trajectory? So I like that it's broken down. I think it gives a lot of value. And so the event's going to be taking place in October. Obviously, you're going to have some amazing lineup of guest speakers. I think there were some vendors last year there.
Yeah.
Do you have any of those lined up?
Always.
Always lined up. Okay. So people can attendees can expect some great conversations that they can have with various vendors that are all very relevant to business.
Yes.
And how those companies can support business. So what I'm hearing and what I want to make sure the audience is aware of, that these events are really designed for anybody.
Yeah.
Right. Although it's defined as the small and mighty, anybody in any line of business, would it be fair to say, could be attending these things if they've got that drive and motivation for growth?
Yeah, absolutely. We generally attract people that have an existing business already. We have definitely a following around new entrepreneur, but I would say our main following is around companies that has between 2 to about $120 million in top line revenue, and then we would discuss the daily challenges of the people of this sort of group.
Awesome. Is it amazing how 120 million is like small still?
I know, isn't it crazy? But I have clients doing 120 million and they still have 10 staff. It comes down to really what is your industry and what you sell to, right?
I think, in terms of the event, obviously we're going to put some information out into the world. The date is going to be at some point in October.
Yeah.
It's not solidified just yet.
No, here's calendar is not solidified.
And I would say that once it is, it's a very worthwhile event to partake in. My key takeaway from this conversation, because a light bulb went off as soon as you said set a KPI for the event. I think that's brilliant, and it's as simple as it sounds. It is actually something I'm going to take away. So I'm going to have an objective when I'm at this event next year, or this October coming up. And I just want to say thank you for coming here and talking about this event and entrepreneurship. I think there's a stigma with, fear maybe sometimes, or that, you hear the statistics of how many businesses fail in the first year or two. Doesn't mean you shouldn't give it a shot.
Absolutely.
Work with people like yourself and the folks at ChangeConnect, who are amazing, who can guide and give great management advice on how to approach going from a drywaller and loving drywalling to bringing in a president potentially, right?
Yeah.
Like, those are things that often do take some conversation, and just being surrounded with the right people who can give you that guidance and plan it for you is invaluable in the grand scheme of things. So thank you for being here. Very much appreciate it.
Bring me, George.
Anybody who wants to check out Small and Mighty, we're going to post all of this information in the notes. I'm going to give you guys access to Agnes's ChangeConnect company as well, who does amazing work in and outside our community. But she's brilliant, and I would definitely advise you to check her stuff out. She's helped us tremendously over the years, and I can't wait to continue to do some more projects with her. So thanks for tuning in. Thank you for being here with us today, and have a wonderful day, everybody. See ya. Thanks for watching this video. If you got something out of it, please like, subscribe, or share it with your friends.